Hi friends, welcome to Law Chat with Girija. I'm Girija Patel, your host for Law Chat, and I am so excited for you to join us today. I have some amazing guests on Law Chat, and they're here to share their experiences and entrepreneurial journey with us, and through their storytelling, mentorship with us, because that is the whole point. We are all entrepreneurs and we're all on a journey, and learning from one another is the best way for us to move forward in our journey as well. And I have amazing guests who are so willing and ready to share their stories with us, their challenges and their victories and their achievements, and also their mindset. I just can't wait to share that with you, and I also just can't wait to have that conversation with them. It's such a privilege to have each and every one of them here with us today, and also it's such a privilege to have you listening in and tuning in. So let's dive in to Law Chat with Girija.
Hi friends, welcome to Law Chat. I am so excited to have you here today. We are going to be talking about using legal strategy and good practices in maintaining a healthy corporate culture. So here I am, Girija Patel, your legal BFF, and we are ready to start. So I am talking about this today because I went to a conference recently, Creative at Heart, and I think my next couple of solo episodes will actually be talking about that. But also I noticed a lot of things that we were talking about, a lot of things that there was a lot of chatter that was happening. And it's because the last couple of years, or last year or so, has been where a lot of bad corporate practices have been coming into light and into the spotlight, actually. And so I really wanted to talk about legal strategies, and that's going to be a real running theme with my business and with my message to all of you, because honestly, legal strategies need to be integrated into your business. It is not something you run to as a cure or as a reactionary action, but it's more so something that you have already started implementing in your business practices. Because when your business practices are legitimately legal and they are good practices, you're going to have a hard time being shaken by outside third parties or outside weather or climate changes or anything like that. But today's focus is actually going to be on corporate culture. So whether you are a small business, meaning one person, two person, or you have a team that you've hired that are acting like independent contractors even, or whether you are a big company where you have, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 and above, or 100 employees or higher than that, and or whether you are a corporation, it doesn't matter what label you have as a business. What matters is your business practices. And what matters is how you are creating a corporate culture in your business that speaks volumes about who you are, the values that you uphold as a person and in your life, and then in the values that you want your company also to be representative of. But it also speaks volumes about, how you're treating others in your business and how your business will then thrive or not thrive, because eventually it does collapse if there is mistreatment or if there is something that is just not sitting well with others properly, right? So I'm going to kind of go through 8 different things that you can do. Now, some of these are legal, some of these are just good business practices, and some of them might be controversial even, but I don't care, because this, I think, is important for people to hear. It's important to have those hard conversations. I know the conference, we were having some hard conversations, and you can feel the discomfort that some people have, but unless you talk about those discomforts, or unless you talk about those hard conversations, you can't improve and you can't make your space better. And I know ultimately all of us want to have a very good business. We want our business to thrive. And so this is one way to do that. Okay, so let's get started. So number one is really having the knowledge of what your business is like, right? And the industry that you're in, and also the state that you're working in, or the state that your business is registered in. If you have registered the LLC or the corporation, what are those state laws? Is it at will, or is it for cause when it comes to termination? How do you terminate in your business, or how do you terminate in your state? And so those are things that you need to know, have a working knowledge of it. And then you also need to really be inclusive. And so that kind of goes to the laws as well, and having a working knowledge of the laws. So in general, federal laws applies. And so you cannot be racist or discriminating towards any protected classes, right? So protected classes can be gender, race, religion, things like that. But we have a responsibility as humans for humankind, and then also as business owners to really extend that unbiased and to extend the inclusivity towards other classes that may not be protected, or towards other people or types of people that may not be protected. And so what happens is that when your company has a trend that they're following, unknowingly maybe, or knowingly, and that trend becomes pretty evident when you have other people who are just as good to be promoted, in fact, more qualified than the other person sitting next to them to be promoted, and probably more loved also sometimes in the company, but yet they're not promoted. And so when that continuously happens over and over again, or when somebody's overlooked over and over again, that becomes a trend, and that just truly looks bad. So I would suggest, number one, is to know the legal of your business, of your industry, of the state that you're in, and also the federal government. Like, know the laws that apply and the basic running knowledge of what you should and should not be doing, right? If you need to contact an HR company for doing that, you can outsource that, talk to a lawyer also, but start that process in the beginning. So you're integrating those policies from the beginning. You're integrating what is acceptable and what is not acceptable from the beginning, rather than trying to go back in and clean up the mess. Don't do that. Like, even if you're a company that's already been started, you're like 5 years into it, you can absolutely sit down and look at what's happening and take an audit of the way the company trends are going, how you're hiring, how you're firing, how you're promoting, how you're overlooking, and how healthy is that side of your company. And then once you do that, you'll kind of get a better picture of where you stand. And you might be wonderful, or you might need improvement. But either way, it doesn't hurt to start with that step. Figure out, get the basic legal understanding of your business, and then start also reaching out so that you are inclusive. You are also not inadvertently excluding people unknowingly. And it can be hurtful. And it also, a company is not just made up of how much money they're making. Goodwill also goes to the evaluation of a company when you're trying to sell your business. And goodwill takes you really far when it comes down to things, right? If you are just like hurting financially, goodwill will take you far, and people will come out of the woodworks to help you too.
I hate to interrupt this awesome conversation, but I have to stop and talk with you about the number one thing I'm asked about by entrepreneurs: contracts. They're vital to any business relationship and to protect your business. But I also know that entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting up, money is tight. But I would never want you to compromise on a strong legal foundation. So enter yourcontractbuddy.com, a website created by me with contract templates created and drafted by me and fellow industry partners. They're ready to use and easy to plug in immediately. And they are not restricted to any specific state. So yourcontractbuddy.com is sponsoring this episode, and you and your listener can get 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. Yes, you heard me right. 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. And now, back to our awesome conversation.
So number one, look into the laws of your state, of your industry, and what really applies to your industry, and then also of the federal laws that apply. Talk to a lawyer, talk to an HR company, hire an HR person if you need to in your business, depending how big it is, and what the needs are, and kind of start aligning your business in a way where you are inclusive, where you are putting in policies that are unbiased, that are helpful to your business, and that is going to be creating goodwill for your business as well, and a healthy corporate culture, right? So number two, build into your business operations policies where you can touch base, where you can have performance evaluations with your employees. This is so important, and I'll tell you why. This is important because a lot of times you have issues with your employees. You have things where you're like, oh my gosh, I just can't believe that they're doing this. And you don't talk about it. You don't talk about it. And if you don't talk about it, one, they'll never know that there's a problem. Two, you're just going to become like this, dormant volcano that's going to erupt in like nobody knows when, right? So it's very important to have these conversations and have them regularly. Have them maybe twice a year or every quarter or at least once a year. Got to have it. And the reason is because when you have these performance evaluations, you are able to touch base. You're able to talk about expectations that you have from your employee and the expectations that you have for your business. And you're able to talk about how amazing they're doing in the areas that they are amazing in. And you're able to talk about healthy criticism, healthy ways of telling them this area needs improvement. This area is not up to par, and it's not up to par because of this, and we need improvements in this area. So you're giving them notice. That's the whole point. You're giving them notice of where they need to improve. You're not letting them all of a sudden, you're just like, okay, I'm just going to fire you. Now, if you're an at-will state, that might work. But if you're not an at-will state, that's not going to work. That's not going to cut it, actually. And so you're going to need to have some type of paper trail, some type of records that is showing that you told your employee that this is a problem. You gave them a chance to cure the problem, to make it better, to improve it, but they didn't. And this problem was consistent. And so whether you're at will or for cause or, anything, it is important to have this documentation. And so have those conversations, have them put it into your, if you have a handbook for your business, which you should have a handbook, employee handbook. And that way they can, also see like where they need to improve and at least have a chance to improve if they need to. And that way you have those regular meetings with them, and also just always follow up with a written documentation of that meeting. Maybe have a standardized documentation for evaluations. And so where you have that out there and have that written document, send it over, place it into your records also. So that way you have a paper trail of that conversation. You have a paper trail of the notice also. And it's also just part of your business records, which is so important to have, because if it's part of your ordinary business, the way you are running your business on an ordinary day, it's important to have that, because in the event you ever go to court, it could be admissible for evidence. And sometimes things like that just seems very arbitrary. It may not be admissible. So if it's your records that you keep and keeping it part of your ordinary business, the way it functions, then absolutely, put that in there, have it as a part of your process and a part of your operations as well. And it kind of goes into also having an employee handbook. A lot of people don't have this, but it's really good to have it, because you really set out the expectations of what you are looking for in your employee. And it could be small, it could be big, it doesn't matter. It kind of talks about the mission of the business, the mission of your company, what employee expectations are. If you do have a dress code, why do you have that dress code? And what is the dress code, right? And so it helps them understand, and it also sets a standard operating procedure for your business. It's part of the ordinary course of your business, and it just makes it normal, like for your business. And so it's important to have these elements that are part of your business practices and part of your business operations. So number one, figure out the law and have a basic running knowledge of the law. Be inclusive, have understanding of if you're at will or for cause, what kind of employment is your state. And then number two, build into your business operations policies where you're having employee evaluations on a regular basis, whether it's once a year, twice a year, 4 times a year, whatever works for your business, but have at least once a year, which includes also having a employee handbook. Number 3, having that employee handbook is very important. Like I said earlier, number 4 is getting rid of the bad liability apples. That's my number 4. Yes, it is. Okay. What do I mean by that? The bad liability apples. Those are the people that are causing trouble. Those are the people in your business that are causing friction. Those are the people that are maybe opening you up for discrimination suits or racist, or, where they are acting racist, or they are being prejudiced against a certain group of people, or they're the person that is maybe being lewd with other employees or causing a, environment that it's uncomfortable for other employees. get rid of them. There's no need for that. There's no space for that. It's just going to ruin the reputation of your business. It's going to cause so much drama in your business. And it's just going to open you as a business owner and your company for a lot of lawsuits that you don't necessarily want to be a part of. And the fact is that if you know that somebody is like that and you just let it go and you keep on letting it go, you've kind of allowed it. You've given them space to do that, even if you have been told that it is something that's happening in your business and you don't do any actions or take any actions towards it. It can be damaging, especially if you all of a sudden do it knowing that there's a lawsuit coming your way and then you fire them because you already know that happened. It just looks bad. It looks bad. Optics are bad. Practices are bad. Nobody is stupid. Everybody knows what's happening. And it's just, you can't do that. So it's very important that you get rid of the bad liability apples. So anybody that is causing friction again, that is, showing actions or saying or speaking things that are discriminatory or lewd in nature that can cause others to believe otherwise, get rid of that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. And what's worth it is your name. What's worth it is your reputation. What's worth it is your integrity. What's worth it are the sweat, the tears, and the blood that you have put into your business. That's what's worth it, right? So get rid of those bad apples. Doesn't matter. I don't care if that bad apple is a family member. Get rid of that bad apple because it will bite you later on. It's not just going to rot everybody. It's going to rot and break that basket. You don't want that. So get rid of those bad liability apples. Number 5, audit employee feedback. So now kind of going, tagging along with the bad apples, the audit and employee feedback is important because what happens is that you are getting employee feedback, you're listening to them, have maybe like little boxes where they can put employee feedback or concerns or opinions or, ideas. How do you want this to happen? Have this sprinkled around or give a safe space to your employees to have those conversations with you. I was the former president of my school's PTO, and you just never realize what kind of things can come up to your plate. And sometimes, we were in a place where we realized that a lot of our school's teachers and admin and leadership didn't have recourse. They didn't know who to talk to because there were some people in higher level that made it impossible, that made it uncomfortable, that made it really painful to have those conversations. And it created a corporate environment that was so toxic that it trickled into the parent community. It trickled into the students. And that's unacceptable because we don't realize what can happen when we're not listening. And what's important is to listen to our employees. What's important is to listen to the community that we're serving. And if we are not listening, we cannot improve. So have an ear close to the ground. Have an ear close to where your employees are. Put out those opinion boxes, concern boxes. Keep an open door policy if you would like to. Have a place where they can have a safe conversation with you and they don't feel any type of recourse or retaliation, which retaliation is against the law, by the way, FYI. So have a place for that because once you start doing that, you'll also see where the bad apples are. You'll also see whether that bad apple is a person or whether that bad apple is a policy that's existing in the office. Get rid of it. Get rid of it in your business. And so it's really important to audit your business at least twice a year and see where you're going. So get employee feedback, send out surveys, very intentional surveys that are not biased, surveys that are not just pro your company, but surveys that ask the hard questions. Because I tell you, everybody can read through that. People can see through it. And if you don't return the survey information also, or give hey, have a town hall meeting with your team, talk to them about it. Even if you're a team of 2 people, you never realize how much you can improve in your business when you take the time to pause and listen. And so take those surveys, have those opinion boxes out there, keep an open door policy and a safe space to have those conversations because you will really improve in the areas that you don't even know are actually undermining your entire mission of your business. Now, I like to add this in there because it's just kind of fun. And so number 6 is incorporating employee appreciation activities, creating team building activities, creating days where you're just celebrating them, celebrating the hard work, celebrating a successful project, celebrating a big win, having something in your business also where you do like, okay, we celebrated a win, and sometimes people have ringing of the bell in their offices, or they have a treat day, just something where your employees are truly seeing that you really appreciate them. And there's this amazing book called Love Languages. And so it started off with, couples and whatnot, but there's also love languages for employers and their employees. So definitely go check it out, because sometimes you can really get some great ideas. If you're not a gifter, or if you're not someone who likes to service, but you show your love in different ways, this would be a great way to really incorporate that into your business, because everyone has different love languages. And so showing appreciation, even if it's just a handwritten note of, this was amazing, you did a great job. And of course, being verbal about it all the time. Don't hold back on your compliments. Be generous. Be exploding in abundance with your compliments to your employees and to your team. And so this kind of leads me to the final thing, which is employee contracts. I know some industries don't do it. They don't believe in it. A lot of health industries, shocking. There's no employee contracts there. But employee contracts are really good. It's good to have it. A lot of at-will companies don't do them because they're at will, so they don't want to kind of bind themselves into something. If it's not an employee contract, have something where it's a written understanding of what your employee's job description is and what the expectations are from your side on their job satisfaction, and then also their performance and things like that. So that way there's an understanding of what to expect, and understanding of what the standards are of your business and your mission and where you see yourselves going. I've given all these things, have a basic running knowledge of the law. How does it apply to your business? And build into your business operations policies where you have touch base with your employees, where you have employee evaluations, and write it out. Follow it up with writing, employee handbook, get rid of the bad liability apples. Please, please, please audit and get employee feedback. Listen, totally important. Incorporate employee appreciation activities, and finally, employee contracts, and then practice it. Start practicing it. Maybe it's not part of your practice, but if you start doing it and making a commitment to doing it, even if it's small little things, you will make it part of your business operations, and it will become a legal strategy that's incorporated in there. Okay, thank you so much. I don't know if you can hear the background, still summertime in my house, but you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time on Loud Chat. Also, if you love this and you want to have more conversations with other business entrepreneurs, join me on my Facebook group called Law Chat for Entrepreneurs. I hope to see you there. The link will be in the bio. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for joining Law Chat with Girija. I love these kind of stories and conversations where we can be real, honest, and open, and having fun at the same time. I hope you are inspired and motivated to keep doing the amazing work you are doing. If this is something that gave you all those feels and then some, truly motivated and inspired for you, you can show your love in all or one of these ways. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video with your community and tell them about it, or share with somebody that can benefit from it. I look forward to seeing you next time on another episode of Law Chat, and until then, keep moving forward. Bye.